The Hillsborough disaster was a tragic event that occurred on April 15, 1989, during an FA Cup semi-final match between Liverpool and Nottingham Forest at Hillsborough Stadium in Sheffield, England. The disaster resulted in the deaths of 96 football fans and left hundreds injured. The incident had a profound impact on football in the United Kingdom and led to significant changes in stadium safety regulations and crowd management practices. On that fateful day, thousands of fans descended upon Hillsborough Stadium to support their respective teams. The stadium had a capacity of around 54,000, but the authorities had made the decision to allocate a large portion of the standing-only area, known as the Leppings Lane Terrace, to Liverpool supporters. This decision had significant consequences for the events that unfolded later. As kickoff approached, the situation outside the stadium became increasingly chaotic. Due to poor crowd control and inadequate planning, the police failed to effectively manage the large crowds trying to enter the ground. As a result, a bottleneck formed at the entrance gates, leading to overcrowding and heightened tension. With the match about to start, it became apparent that the situation inside the stadium was becoming dangerous. The central pens of the Leppings Lane Terrace quickly became overcrowded, and fans were packed tightly against each other. As the pressure grew, the fencing separating the fans from the playing field began to give way. In a desperate bid to escape the crushing pressure, some fans climbed over the fencing onto the pitch. Tragically, many others were unable to escape and were crushed against the barriers. Despite the unfolding catastrophe, the match started on time, unbeknownst to the players and officials who were shielded from the events in the stands. Emergency services were called to the scene as the severity of the situation became evident. Ambulances rushed to the stadium to transport the injured, but the sheer scale of the disaster overwhelmed the resources available. Dedicated fans and police officers worked together to administer first aid and help the injured. In the aftermath of the Hillsborough disaster, a public inquiry was launched to investigate the causes and circumstances surrounding the tragedy. The Taylor Report, published in 1990, highlighted various factors that contributed to the disaster, including poor crowd control, inadequate stadium design, and the failure of police planning and response. The report laid the blame on a number of parties, including South Yorkshire Police, Sheffield Wednesday Football Club, and the Football Association. It concluded that overcrowding, the layout of the terraces, and the lack of escape routes were crucial factors in the loss of lives. The findings of the Taylor Report led to significant changes in football stadium safety regulations. The most notable change was the requirement for all major stadiums in England to be converted to all-seater venues, significantly reducing the risk of overcrowding and improving spectator safety. The Hillsborough disaster remains one of the darkest chapters in the history of British football. The events of that day not only claimed the lives of 96 fans, but also shattered the lives of their families and left an indelible mark on the entire footballing community. Alright folks, for more such videos subscribe to Oddity and hit that bell icon too. Adios.